I hope it was a light. Yes, yes, it is, lady, in my
Mm-hmm.
ears. Jesus Christ.
What were you saying?
I have no idea. She like knocked me into another dimension.
So you have a light? Is it like a moving
Oh,
light?
I had a light. Yeah, that was like it's like a light that I use in my bedroom where it's like purple, but it looks like the a pool kind of,
Oh.
that pool effect.
Hmm.
Uh, and so yeah, the light when you plug it in, it's like rotating to make that effect, and it
Ah,
is loud as fuck. And I forgot that that thing's loud as fuck, so I just turned it off because it's
gotcha.
not
Yeah.
really doing anything.
Thank God, because I'm not hearing it anymore. That would have annoyed the shit out of me.
That's amazing that you heard it, that you could hear it.
Well, it's a testament to your microphone, I guess. It's a
I guess.
good microphone. It's a hell of a lot better than the other one was.
Thank God, because I paid like $50 for it. So
Right. The one
damn.
that I had found for you is actually cheaper and higher quality, but what are you gonna do? And I
Thanks,
was gonna
Dad.
buy it for you.
Were you?
I
I
was.
mean, my birthday was like 7 days ago, and Christmas is coming. So
I'll still buy
just
it for
saying.
you if you want, but you already bought a microphone. What's the point? I guess it can't hurt to
Sir,
have
I
more than
can
one.
I can sell this one, okay? I need money. No
Gotcha.
problem.
Okay. Well, that can be
If
arranged.
you think if you think if you think you can get me a better quality with less money, I mean, why not?
I do. I do think.
Yes. Okay. Ugh, I hate that my like this part is red because I'm blowing my nose because I'm
Oh
sick.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been blowing my nose all the time for
Yeah.
days.
So for all you pervs out there, um, if you,
Herbs.
yeah,
Oh my god. Hitler moment.
there you go. Anybody that might have a thing for red lips under their nose.
Oh my god. I haven't
Yeah,
even thought
it's
about
a
that.
sick fetish or something. I don't know. I'm,
Wow.
I'm being gross.
Hadn't
It's
heard
my
about that
thing.
one.
Hmm?
I hadn't heard about that one.
Me either, but I assume it's out there.
Oh yeah, sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm certainly not one of them.
Aha! Cool, 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 cool. So what are
Well,
you drinking, huh?
yeah. Well, I have a variety of beverages here.
Oh, sure.
Classic Monster. Haven't had one of these
Mm-hmm.
in ages. I figured it might put a little pep in my step, if you will.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Hopefully.
Because coffee's been kicking my ass. It like actually makes me like crash. I don't like it.
Oh.
Some sugar-free Gosling's ginger beer, which I like to drink straight. I also like to mix it with Jameson, of
Oh!
which none of these things are sponsoring our podcast yet,
Nope.
unfortunately. And also, just because you mentioned beer, I grabbed a Heineken out of the fridge while I was there. Um,
Wow.
I like to have a variety, you see.
You have like a mini bar now next to you. I just brought my one of my favorite beers, which is a Sapporo Premium Ale.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and that's what I'm drinking. Also not sponsored, but
what kind of
I
beer is that?
usually I usually order this when I go to sushi places.
Hmm.
I believe is I mean, I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
a
if it's
Japanese beer, isn't
Japanese.
it?
I don't know because it says that it was brewed in Ontario, Canada,
Hmm.
but I don't know if it the origin. No idea, bro. I have no
Okay.
idea. It
So
tastes good, bitch.
maybe it's a
Okay.
Greek beer. It sounds familiar. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to Wubba Lubba Pod. This is where we are not accurate about anything at all
At
necessarily.
all.
We're just a bunch of nerds
Super
doing
nerds.
doing nerdy things, but we will respect the shit out of your pronouns. God damn it.
That's right.
I will
What are
not
your pronouns?
my pronouns are he him.
Mine are they them.
Yeah, and I'm going to respect the shit out of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um
Oh my god, I'm
I
gonna cry in a corner. I don't know.
I
You have
will
something in your face, son. Hold on 1 second. There's something like on my screen that's in your face. It's bothering the shit out of me. I got it.
stop it. Ew, why do you have to wipe my face? We're like being watched by people. my God. Oh, by the way, I just to complete my mini bar, I also have a smart water.
I also have water.
Because it makes me smart.
It's so smart. Also, look
I'm
at
a
this
smart
picture.
person who drinks smart water. I
So
paid
smart.
$2.50 for this.
Yeah, that's actually not that smart.
I know. Well, I haven't had a
The
reverse
irony.
I need a reverse osmosis filter in my house. The pure filter makes the water taste like shit. It's better than if it were just straight tap water. Like the government has straight up admitted that we have lead and PFAS in our city water. So
Lovely.
yeah, I mean, I'm only like an hour and a half drive from Flint, Michigan.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's unfortunate.
So, heard of it?
Heard of it. Yeah. That sucks.
But yeah,
Sucks
seriously though,
tits.
I'm considering all of this the actual like intro to Wubba Lubba PodPod.
Sure.
Welcome. I'm Josh.
Welcome. I'm Alex.
Wubba Lubba PodPod.
Papa!
I'm totally paying $15 a month for this subscription to Zoom, and I am going to use it. And
yes, we are.
That is partially why I have a stupid space background theme, and my fucking microphone is all
disappears and then comes back in, and then disappears again.
We're not here for video quality. We're here for entertainment quality. And if you'd like to watch us, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, that's something you gotta do.
Kind of weird, but we're here to support that. That's what we do. We're very supportive. And stuff.
Yeah, and the way that you can watch it, by the way, is through becoming a Patreon. Patreon.com/WubbaLubbaPodPod. And you can check out the perks. We have 3 tiers. And I'm going to leave you with like the mystery of what each of them has. Like, you go check it out.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I'll give you the full rundown at the end of the episode, but you have to wait. You have to listen to our episode first, or just fast forward. But we don't want people to know that trick exists. Because
oh my God, don't tell them.
I'm sorry. That's my bad. Oh my God.
So what are we doing today, Josh?
I'm not wearing any pants.
Oh.
Actually, I am.
Let me guess, they're jeans.
I just like to joke about not wearing pants, but I'm always wearing pants. That's the joke. That's the real joke. Is I'm wearing jeans. And they're probably like Lee's or Levi's. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Good. Levi's are good.
Yeah. Almost certainly made by slave labor.
Oh my God. Thank you for that. For reminding us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am not wearing pants. I'm wearing boxers, and they're flowy and very comfy. Yeah.
They're what? What was the first word?
They're flowy.
Flowy.
I've
not. Okay. That's not a word I would think to attribute to.
Do you want to see?
Undergarments.
They're like shorts. They're not. They can be undergarments. They have pockets. Like they're like comfy.
Oh wow, those are really baggier than I would have expected. I guess baggy's not not really the right word, but flowy. You said it, flowy.
Flowy.
They're breezy.
Yeah, breezy, easy breezy. Boxers.
Yeah, they're quaint and cozy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what I'm always going for, the coziness. So.
But yeah, here we are on Wubba Lubba PodPod. We're going to start you off with a scene-by-scene recap. Then we're going to do some analysis as we go. And then we always like to talk about some character lore, do some tracking if we can. My God, I think we bit off more than we can chew there. But we're going to try, damn it. Fan theories. Oh, yeah. I've got at least one fan theory locked and loaded that I want to talk about this episode. Don't worry, it's not too much. It's not too complicated. They're going to get more and more complicated as we go, because obviously if you've seen Rick and Morty, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Sorry. I tried to burp.
Oh, yeah, I heard it. But I'm looking
Burping is encouraged here, obviously.
Yeah, so hop on our live stream when we start doing that and start burping at us.
Yeah.
We eventually intend to add the ability to do a super, what's it called, a super comment or a super,
What?
where people can pay to ask a
Uh-huh.
question that we have to answer
Oh.
like immediately.
Oh, that's like a YouTube thing,
Oh, is
YouTube
it?
live thing.
Oh,
Yes.
well.
And I think it's called Super Chat or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm like,
Well, we could do that on YouTube.
we'll look into it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we
Um,
don't have to do that. We don't have to do this on Twitch. Right now, we're just doing recordings. We're basically just sitting here circle jerking ourselves, and then we're going to upload it later. You're welcome.
yeah. Yeah. So it is what it is, and you'll take it because our lives are difficult and it's the holidays. Okay. I've been busy. I've been having family here. You don't know what I've been through.
Seriously. Yeah,
So
I've been at
stop
work
yelling at us.
constantly. Yeah. It scares me. Anyway. So
um,
what so yeah, this episode is called M. Night Shaym-Aliens.
and I don't know what the fuck that means. Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, a little bird told me that our fun co-host over here, Alex, doesn't know what the hell that means. And I think it was you only moments ago, and also before the episode. M. Night Shaym-Aliens. I mean, have you seen the movie The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Or I
The
forget what
one
it's.
about the ghosts? The
Yes.
little boy
Yeah.
ghost? Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
see dead
I
people.
mean, he's not a ghost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. So the twist is
That Mel Gibson, what's his name?
yeah. Was it? No, it was Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is
Bruce
the
Willis
ghost.
was dead the whole time. How dare you
The whole time.
confuse the two? He was
I'm so
dead the whole
sorry.
time, but he was still going to work. What a mind fuck. Anyway,
Yes.
that movie was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
And so that's
Okay.
it's just a reference to that director / writer's name, which is spelled really fucking weird. It's like, I don't know, look it up. But it's,
Yeah, I think I read it in something where I was looking stuff about this episode and I was like, what the fuck is that?
yeah, so he always does a
But
crazy
yeah.
wonky but also really fucking dumb twist. And that's
Okay.
what this episode is about
Yeah.
is dumb
Yeah.
twists one
Yeah,
after another.
true.
And it's the same twist. Woo. But so we're going to talk about that later anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just say a little disclaimer that I am sick, right? So that's why I might sound sick, because I am. So deal with it. Sorry. And if I cough, my cough is gonna be like a demon cough. Okay? Cough, cough, cough.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about anybody else.
All right.
It's gonna be good times.
Cough kink.
So do we want to start on our scene by scene walkthrough of the episode?
I have, yes, but I have one tiny question. I do have those like Instagram questions, Q&A. There is just two questions.
right.
You want to answer now or like later?
No, let's do that first.
Should we just get them out of the way? All right, yeah. So just in case you didn't know, like when you follow us on Instagram, you get the privilege of knowing when we post a fucking question box for you to ask us questions. And then these questions, we can potentially answer them on the episode, right? Right now, we only got 2 questions, which is perfect because I thought we weren't going to get any. And we're going to answer them now. Question 1 was submitted by United 2015-66. And they said, or asked, would you have the power to be half human and half demon to save the world? Josh?
Would I like to have the power to be half human and half demon to save the world? Yeah, sounds more interesting than being a day slave. Definitely. I'd take
Is that what you consider yourself right now?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, okay. I think I've got a pretty squishy job situation set up for myself in comparison to what I used to, but I'd give it all up to be a half demon who saves the world. What's the downfall?
I mean, you know what a demon means. You'll be half evil. You probably kill some people in the way of saving the world.
Uh-huh. And?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, shit! All right.
Yeah,
that's your answer. Oh,
You expected me to have more of a moral conundrum over that?
I guess. Well, also, I'm sorry if you hear that beeping in the background. I just got a new Tamagotchi.
Oh
Yes,
my
that's
god,
correct.
that's
Um,
that's insane.
and this is the first generation Tamagotchi, like from back when I had from my days, you know. So, I forgot how annoying they are.
And how needy they are.
And how needy they are. Like it needs me to play with it, and it's gonna be beeping. So I'm gonna put it in my room because it's not gonna shut up unless I play with it. Okay.
Oh, can you murder it right now?
I could reset it, but then it's just gonna like be born again in like 5 minutes. You
Well,
know what I'm saying?
okay.
So I'm just gonna put it
Yeah.
over there and let it. It'll probably die or something.
Just
I don't know.
snuff it out under a pillow. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Sorry, son.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Jesus. Okay. Hopefully it will be noticeable over there. All right, I put it like under the blankets. Hopefully that'll
Uh-huh.
be enough.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
I acted out you snuffing out the Tamagotchi with a pillow while you were doing it.
Oh, great. Yeah, it was something like that.
You can watch it. You can watch it later.
Great.
It'll be very entertaining, I promise.
So the back to the questions. So I guess my answer would be the same. Honestly, I think I would go into this adventure, rather than because the life compared to that life, I mean,
Right. Yeah.
my life is boring. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying? Like,
grass
why
is
is my
always
life
greener
so
on
embarrassing?
grass is always greener on the other side. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, I guess.
Um,
Okay, let's go to question number 2, which is kind of interesting and I'm very curious about. This was
okay.
submitted by Jade,
Hmm.
and they said favorite animated show or movie. Josh.
Huh. That's not Rick and Morty.
Let's say that's not Rick and Morty because obviously we love Rick and Morty, right?
Okay. Because it would be Rick and Morty.
Okay.
But let's say not Rick and Morty because obviously I don't even need to explain that. I have been watching. I just started watching Inside Job and The Lower Decks of Star Trek, and those are both fantastic, much more fantastic than I was expecting either of them to be. And it's really blinding my ability to remember any other. Other than that, if I had to choose something a little more classic, I would have to say Futurama.
Okay. I
Mm,
haven't seen any of the ones that you were talking about. I know what Futurama is.
okay.
But okay.
Yeah. Well, and there's actually proof. I did not realize this until today. I was watching some more videos about fan theories for Rick and Morty, and apparently there's deliberate crossover in Rick and
Uh-huh.
Morty with Futurama and The Simpsons and Family Guy.
Okay. I believe
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, like no, there's an episode where you can see the spaceship from Futurama in the background, and there's a dude with a space slug on his head that is
Oh,
directly
yeah.
from an episode of Futurama.
Uh-huh.
And I forget what the other references are, but no, there's like canonical proof that the universes are in some way connected.
Hmm.
Which makes sense because it's the fucking multiverse. We're dealing with the multiverse. It's has to be connected with every reality in some way, shape, or form.
I
So
know.
why not pick
I'm
some good
trying
cartoons?
to... Sorry, I'm trying to like mute my iPad. I feel like it's
I was gonna say, do you have
okay.
another Tamagotchi? Did
Silent
it
mode. Oh no.
did it
No,
crawl
but I am
out from
surrounded. Sorry.
what did it? It's fine. I was gonna say, did it crawl out from under the covers and come find you?
Because it's not a Furby. Calm down. We're not, yeah. No, but I am surrounded by devices and
Well,
electronics. So
aren't we all?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little scary. Um, so is that your full answer?
Yeah,
Anything
that's my
else?
full
Yeah,
answer.
okay.
What's yours?
Okay, my answer is, so I was thinking about this, and I would have to say my favorite animated, because like show and movie, I have like both, you know. This
Mm-hmm.
is a movie. And it would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
Okay.
because that is just a masterpiece, an artistic masterpiece. It's so amazing. I love the style of animation. It's
Hmm.
very like how I imagine when I'm reading a comic, like that's how I see it in my brain come to life. And I love the very like the colors, the aesthetic, the glitching, the yeah, the comic book style, the bubbles, like everything about it,
Yeah.
about the actual like art and animation of it. Besides the story, of course, I love that like it's about Miles Morales, which is part Latin, part Black, and he's like the representation in that. I love Spider-Man, and I've always loved Spider-Man. I'm actually wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt right now. So like I didn't
I'm wearing a
know
Star
that
Trek
there
t-shirt.
was. Oh hey, look at us.
Starfleet Academy. Oh,
there, you,
yes.
there you go. So yeah, I didn't know that there was like other Spider-Mans that were like the Peter Parker of the first Spider-Man's movie that I grew up with, right?
Hmm.
And I love that this like opened my world and my love of the Spider-Verse into these other dimensions. And of course, like the story of it's a story about dimensions and hopping and other characters and other versions hopping. And this is a theme that literally is like the same as Rick and Morty that we all love. So I guess that's why I love it as well. So that
Yeah.
would be my answer. But I do want to mention, honorific mention too, if it was like TV shows and not Rick and Morty, because obviously Rick and Morty, then my other animated favorite show is Bob's Burgers. Period.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
That's up there. That would be in my top 10. Um,
Yeah.
I was gonna say a runner-up that I thought of while you were talking about Spider-Man is the
Yeah.
second generation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons, not the originals from the '80s. Those are
Okay.
shit.
Okay.
They're fun in their own right, but they're shit. Um,
Okay.
they came out with another series. There's like 8 of them now, and it's gotten really convoluted. But the second one that started coming out, and I want to say the late '90s, early 2000s, was
That's
much
probably
more.
the ones that I remember.
Possibly, yeah. It's much more
Hmm.
accurate to the comic book series, and it's much darker, and has actual like canonical um, storylines that
Hmm.
connect together throughout. It's serialized. It's not episodic like the
Mm.
original '80s cartoon, which is basically just Inspector Gadget but with turtles.
Oh, okay.
The original '80s one, I mean, because you've got fucking uh Shredder. Yeah, I'll
Uh-huh.
get you next time, turtles. That's the whole
Okay.
plot right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Okay.
do we want to
Fun.
talk about Rick and Morty on this Rick and Morty podcast?
Right. We should probably do that. I mean,
Sure.
that was a nice little Q&A section there. I
Yeah,
don't know. We might do it
I
again.
think we had a fun opening. It was a bit long, but it's fine. Um, so
I'm ready. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
doesn't matter to
It's
me.
like
Roll the
okay.
dice. You
You
start.
start. You start.
I'm
I
starting.
start.
I'm
Fuck.
starting. No, you start. So we're in the garage. We're in Rick's garage, or it looks like Rick's garage. He's
Okay.
dissecting a rat, and he's like, God, this is just sloppy craftsmanship. And I'm like, on a rat? Huh, that's weird, but it all makes sense real soon. Like, because Morty enters, he's acting pretty normal for Morty, but Rick is all like, oh, careful, guys, you're going to burn out the CPU with this one. Whoa, he's like super responsive in real time. And then Beth comes out and she gets in her car and she's clearly like very robotic and monotone. And Morty's like, huh, that's weird, Rick. Gosh, I don't know. What is going on? Oh, you think she's weird? Oh, crazy. And so Rick's all super suspicious of Morty. And then Morty's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to school. And he bonks into the wall. And the Rick is
Yeah.
doing this comically ridiculous, suspicious look towards him while he's still dissecting the
Fidgeting with the
rats.
rat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Classic Rick and Morty. The end. We're go home, everybody. No, not really. Okay. Cut to the school. You want to take
Yeah.
it from there?
Sure. Where Morty and everybody in his class, they're all learning what 5 times 9 is. And turns out that it's at least 40. And that is correct.
Technically correct. Yes.
Technically correct. And so the what Goldie Folds? What's his name? Gold
Golden
Folds?
folds. Golden
Golden
folds.
Folds.
Yeah.
Is
Puffy
praising
vagina.
Morty. Yeah, puffy vagina. He's praising Morty and he's telling him like, "Oh my God, that's the correct answer. Like you should teach us. Like go in front of the class and teach us. La la la." And then they're like casually like, "Oh my God, I have a question. How do you make concentrated dark matter?" And then Golden Falls is like, "Oh my God, that's a great question. How would you make concentrated dark matter?
And
Huh?"
Jessica, of course, butts in and
It's,
she's like,
yeah.
Morty, isn't your grandpa like a scientist or something?
Shouldn't
Like,
you know this because your grandpa is a scientist?
I'll
Boobs,
like
boobs, boobs.
I'll like totally be your girlfriend if you give us that recipe. I don't know, Morty. That sounds like I think I'm getting probably
Yeah.
shouldn't do too good of a Golden Folds impression. Isn't that racist? Um,
Maybe.
Probably. Yeah. Anyway, they're all way too into this, and so Rick has been watching through the window, and
Yeah,
now
he's
he
like
barges
spying.
in to save Morty.
Correct.
Um,
He's like, blah, blah, family emergency. Doesn't do like much of an effort there. He's just like, whatever. Pulls
yeah,
him out.
he drags him out, and Morty's like, "Oh, Rick, I was totally gonna get married, I think," and like,
Yeah.
"No, you take your clothes off. It's the only way.
Yeah, they're
You
suddenly
gotta
in the locker rooms in the showers. Rick
lick
is
my
like,
balls, Morty. It's the only
oh my God.
way."
I thought about that. Like that moment, I was like, oh, this is straight out of that fucking first
Oh,
cursed episode
it's not
pilot.
working, Morty. You're gonna have to stroke the shaft.
Yep.
That's
Yep. Yep. Yep.
basically the the original episode, but now with an actual plot. Um,
Exactly.
so
Yeah. But this is when the ones are both naked, this is when Rick reveals that they are in fact inside a simulation chamber on an alien spaceship.
yeah,
The aliens are called Sigerians. Sigerians, right?
something like that.
Nigerian
It's
scammers are behind all of this.
yeah,
This is their fault.
those rascally bastards. Um,
Most ambitious, least successful con artists described by Rick like this, and they are really uncomfortable with nudity, so that's why they're naked in the shower.
hmm. And long zoom out to reveal a bunch of aliens on the bridge of a spaceship arguing about them being naked. And oh my
They're
God, I can't
still
look.
naked.
It's so gross. And I swear to God, I forgot to look it up, but this main alien, the captain, or the one who's acting like the captain or whatever, is definitely
Right.
voiced by David Cross.
Uh-huh.
If you know who David Cross is, then you know. If you don't, then he was one of the main characters on oh fuck, what was that show called? Well, he did a sketch comedy show with Bob Odenkirk called Bob and David back in the 90s on HBO.
Ooh.
And he
Mhm.
also did Arrested Development.
Oh, okay.
He was the Never Nude, if you recall.
No.
Okay. Well, he was one of
but
the
but I just want
brothers.
to say that this voice does sound very familiar to me.
Okay, he does a lot
Like
of
he
stuff.
does sound very
And
familiar to me.
his first officer or one of the other aliens in there,
Uh-huh.
I didn't write down any of his lines, but he sounds exactly like Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh wow.
And do you know why he sounds exactly like Brain from Pinky and the Brain?
Why, Josh?
Because I'm going to look it up right now, but I bet you $50 it actually is. I know that guy is still alive and still active.
Oh my God. Oh my
Pinky
God.
and the Brain.
He's looking it up as we speak.
IMDb. But did you also know that the reason Brain sounds the way that Brain does, like the character choice that the actor made at the very beginning of the series, was he wanted to sound like, oh shit, now I can't think of his name. There's an O. It starts with an O. All right, so Maurice Lamarck is the voice actor of the Brain.
Ooh, okay.
Um, God, he was in The Simpsons. He was in Futurama. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Orson Welles.
Oh,
That's the voice
okay.
that he's doing. He's just doing an Orson Welles impersonation.
Okay.
Which he plays Orson Welles in The Simpsons, and he's in Disenchantment,
Okay. Okay.
Zootopia.
Okay.
Haven't seen Zootopia. There it is. Um, sorry, I need to. He's he speaks for Aberdolf Linkler in
Oh,
the episode in an episode that we haven't gotten to yet. I have not confirmed that he is the voice of that alien, but we do know. Yeah. Anyway, if you're curious, look it up. I said his name already. I've forgotten his name. So anyway,
yep. Yeah, they're squirming because of the nakedness, and one of them is like, I think we should make Kevin look. And then he's like, why would you even say that? Like they're bullying one of them.
well, we find out later, and I have a very poignant question about that. But let's cover that later.
Okay.
So then they notice that there's another human in the simulation, full stop. And guess what? It's Jerry.
Of course it's Jerry.
They argue about who the fuck let him on board. And they're like, well, my department wouldn't do that. Well, my department wouldn't do that. Okay, so it's nobody's fault.
I got it. Don't put this on acquisition. Oh, it's because it's the abductions department. Where's the abductions department? Whoa. Abductions department follows acquisitions order. Don't put this on acquisitions. We only acquire humans that haven't been simulated. Simulations don't simulate anybody that hasn't been abducted. So abductions.
That's fucking amazing. Bureaucracy at its finest.
Yeah.
So
and of course, Jerry hasn't realized that he's in a simulation. I can't. Just
the level of stupid with Jerry. I'm glad this is a cartoon, because otherwise I would never buy how stupid Jerry is. Like, I can't even buy how stupid Morty is being and not having figured it out. It helps a little bit to realize how stupid Jerry is, and like, okay, he's Jerry's son. But even first season Morty, I'm kind of like, really, buddy? You've seen enough shit, even in episode 4, that you would know that something's up at this point. Like, he noticed immediately that his mom's acting funny. And, spoiler alert, we know exactly why. It's because Morty is a simulation all the fuck along.
Yeah.
Anybody who's seen this episode knows that, who's thought about it for 2 seconds. So, the only thing that I don't want to ruin my opinion on right now is, when does Rick figure out that Morty is a simulation? Because we know that he figures it out. And I have a very strong opinion on that, but I don't want to talk about it till afterwards.
Okay.
Have an answer for that when we finish the walkthrough.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay. Or don't. I don't care. Whatever. We're here to have fun.
So yeah, it's funny that they're like, oh, just put the capacity of the sector at 5% processing and keep the settings on auto. Like, that's not what we need. Like,
and they'll deal with it later.
Quick.
Yeah. And then hilarity ensues.
Earth radio.
And now here's Earth music.
Human music.
Music. My bad.
Bum, 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 bum. And Jerry's like, I like this. Oh my God, Jerry, really? You like it?
It shouldn't be that funny, but it gets me every time.
I know.
It's fucking amazing. So, cut back to Rick and Morty, where Rick is pointing out all the weird, stupid, sloppy mistakes that the aliens are making with the simulator. There's a guy at a hot dog stand putting a bun between 2 hot dogs. There's a woman walking a cat, and Morty keeps being like, well, I don't know, Rick. our neighbor does that all the time. And he's like, shut up. I don't want to hear anything more about Mrs. Sanchez or whatever the fuck her name is. It's not Sanchez. That's his name. Anyway. But then, the one that really kind of makes Morty stop and go, well, okay, I guess maybe, is a fucking Pop-Tart that is driving a toaster and lives in a bigger toaster, and his garage is a toaster oven. And he's got a little tie and a little hat on the corner, and it's adorable.
I know.
I want to live in Pop-Tart worlds. They seem like happy-go-lucky little people. And or maybe it's just that one, and you can't judge an entire species based on one, single day slave from that species. Yeah. So what are you going to do? He was clearly going to work. So they obviously operate on capitalism, very similar to our own democracy, if you will. And so anyway, Morty's finally kind of convinced, and Morty's like, well, why do they keep coming after you? What's he gonna? Why, if you're so much smarter than them? And he's like, well, it's a vendetta. Oh wait, no, we're not to that part yet. But he's like, well, I'm gonna scam the scammers, Morty. The mistake they made this time was bringing you into it. Now it's personal. I'm gonna make him pay, Morty. As they walk off into the sunset or something.
And then cut to Jerry doing his hungry for apples speech. Okay. And this is where we're like, remember that a few episodes ago we were wondering if Jerry had a job or anything?
Yeah.
This is the job that he has. I guess he's like working at an advertising company, and this is him making a pitch to his boss, and like I guess like a board members or something.
Yeah.
And his pitch is hungry for apples. And then, but like anything that he says, the people just say yes back.
Yes.
Like they just reply with yes, yes, yes. And he's just like, oh, this is totally not a ripoff of Got Milk. And they're like, yes. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, so you like it? Yes. Oh, so you're gonna hire me? Yes. Oh, so like, well, like all of the things. And then he's like runs out of there happy as fuck. Doesn't realize it's a fucking simulation, Jerry. And he walks out, and there's like 3 characters outside, and he's like calling Beth. And I like that when he calls her, like the telephone appears, and then everything appears around it, right? The simulation. And then Beth answers, and she's also just like, yes, right? That's all she says. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Are you a simulation, Josh?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop. Oh no. But anyways, it was funny because like when Jerry's outside calling Beth, and he's like walking by and stuff, there's exactly 3 background humans like in the background that repeat themselves as he's walking. And it's the slow down, sir, the looking good lady, and the my man, black mailman,
he's
delivery person. He's my favorite.
Do we see the slow down old man, the angry old man again? I think that might be the only spot. I don't remember.
No, I swear we see all of them like again and again. There's a bunch of glitches as well, and then like, and then what happened?
Even if Jerry had seen the mailman glitch into the tree, I'm not sure he would have thought too much about it,
Yeah, he's literally like, these things are glitching in the background, and he's just like, la la la, like oblivious to it.
Yeah, because he definitely sees lots of evidence that this is not right, at least, but not quite yet. We're not quite there.
This is kind of like, so this to me is a representation of, how when women say like, oh my God, men, like when you talk to them, they're not even listening to you, like when they're like watching their game or doing the thing, this classic trope, right? This is it. Like, this is how like Jerry is in his bubble, not even realizing like beyond his bubble what's happening, even though it's in front of him. Like he has that like typical blind spot that men have. Although I don't know, because what is gender? But you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody know what I mean? I
Yes.
bet women know what I mean because I used to be one. This was just something like that I heard a lot. Like, oh my God,
Yes.
oh my God, the simulation is back. Jesus Christ. Okay, moving on. Moving the fuck on.
Yes.
Stop.
Uh,
Oh, I want to mention one little quote that like made me laugh that Jerry said when he was on the phone with Beth. And he says, I got an erection the size of an East Coast lighthouse.
oh, right. Yeah. Jerry comes up with some crazy shit on occasion. And I'm like, he's not as dumb as he seems a lot of the time.
Yeah.
There's something going on up there. It's just a bunch of
I
marbles
don't.
clacking around. Maybe there's just a couple fewer than, I don't know. Something about
Yeah.
marbles. Marble analogy, insert here.
Perfect.
I don't know. Your thing about men being off in their own world reminded me of a guy that I worked with one time. He was a park ranger, and I was doing these boat tours as the announcer, and I got to drive it half the time. And he would always tell the story to me, not like over the speakers to the passengers or anything, about these young women that he worked with. And but his hearing aids weren't working, so he would say to them, honey, I see your lips moving and it's a thrill, but I don't understand a word you're saying, or something like that. And it was just a really old man sexist kind of shit. And it just reminded me a lot of what you were saying a minute ago. But anyway,
there we go.
Sometimes I want to say that, but I'm like, no, I can't say that. That's mean. Don't say that. I was gonna say that in response to what you were saying about men being in their own world, and I was like, no, I don't want people to think that I'm actually saying that. So I'll just tell the story of the story instead.
Yeah, good choice. Nice.
Yes.
So then, anyways, cut to where are we?
Rick and Morty set up a rap concert to trick the simulation into overloading the processors of the simulation. He makes sure that too many people show up. He's like, oh, I don't know if we can sing our favorite song, the recipe for concentrated dark matter, with only this many people. We need a way bigger audience. So the simulation sends in a fuck ton more people. And then he starts giving them all really specific commands as the music starts playing. Everybody who's 36 and up, jump up and down. Everybody wearing a red shirt, spin around and count to and jump up and down as many times as the square root of pi or something.
Do this with your hand.
Yeah. And a bunch of shit like that, and it makes everything freeze up.
Glitch and freeze up, yeah.
Anybody who's ever not been able to afford the very most recent computer technology to play a super heavy graphics intensive video game knows exactly what's going to happen there. And so everything's frozen, and they start running. They just start running. Doesn't matter what direction. They just pick a direction and they run. And he explains while they're running, it works like a treadmill, Morty. We can, while it's working, it renders everything around us. But now that it's frozen, we can get to the edge. And just as he says it, they get to the edge.
Yeah.
When they keep running past these little frozen tableaus, and I like the 3D work that they did, because you see the pigeons and you kind of see them rotate just a little bit in 3D as they run past, which, they didn't used to do that with cartoons, but now that all these 2D cartoons, hard air quotes, are just basically just 3D rendered anyway. There's no actual drawing involved anymore except for concept art. They can do that kind of shit, and they do it all the time in Futurama, and I like it. It's a fun little touch. And they basically just use cell shading to make it still look classic style animation. So my favorite tableau was they run past a basketball court full of those fucking Pop-Tart people playing basketball.
Oh, wow.
Man, they're really sticking to it with these Pop-Tart people. They really think Pop-Tart people are part of this this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did they get their research from?
Yeah. Well, I have a theory on that a bit later as well.
Oh,
Not
okay.
necessarily this episode, but I can bring it up briefly.
Are you gonna
So,
talk about how Jerry assaults Frozen Beth?
I mean,
Because that was disturbing as fuck, bro. Like, that was so disturbing and uncomfortable.
yeah, it's weird that he doesn't realize that she's basically just a
That she's
fucking
not responding
mannequin.
and moving. Like, exactly. Like,
Yeah, she's a statue, and that's just how dumb Jerry is. I mean, she said yes before she froze, and she's not real, so yeah, no, from a realistic perspective though, if your spouse stops moving 100% and freezes up into a statue, maybe don't fuck her.
maybe
Just
don't.
saying.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
saying.
So yeah, and then it's just so disturbing because we hear there's a shot where we don't see them because they'll show up outside the house uh with like frozen shit outside, but we are hearing Jerry just fucking Beth and coming.
Yeah. Do
It's
you
so
like
stupid.
apples?
Apple! Oh my god.
Oh god.
So cringy. It's so cringy. I'm like, oh god, poor Beth. Um, but yeah, and then he even says that that was the best sex he ever had. How sad is that?
That's pretty fucking sad. Oh, and then he
That
gets all like self-pity, Jerry, like, I don't deserve
yeah.
this. Oh, I'm like, all right, I don't even care.
And he
Um,
gets cringy and pathetic real quick.
yeah.
Just yeah.
So cut to the aliens where they're all super excited that Rick and Morty have gotten out of the simulation just as planned. Yay, this is gonna be such a mind fuck. Woo!
Yeah.
And
And
what a
then Rick and
twist.
Morty are looking for the central processing room.
Mhm.
Um, and then that's when Morty asks him like, why are they doing this? And Rick is like, oh, the Sugerians are obsessed with me and they're trying to like best me for years, but I always outsmart them. Um, and then they get to the room where it's all the shiny crystal processors. And then there's this wholesome moment between Rick and Morty where they start like they get silly with each other and start like throwing the processors at each other and like, oh, haha, I'm gonna get you. Ha, oh, come on here, little guy. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
don't know that
what?
wholesome is how I would describe it. It's fucking weird. It's
Oh,
so
it's definitely weird and out of place, but it is wholesome. To
yeah,
me, it's very wholesome. Like if I believe, I know that like that Morty is
yeah,
actually a simulation, but
I need it to be wholesome as well. But there's something so off about it. And I think I know what it is. And it's not
okay.
him being a pedophile. So there's that.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't
But
think
it's
it was. Oh my god,
I get strong pedophile vibes off of this scene.
really? Oh
Nothing wrong with a little
man,
horseplay every now and again, little fella.
I hadn't seen it that way.
Like
Oh no, now
they
it's
don't have that
ruined.
kind of a rapport
Well,
ever
I thought this was the.
anywhere.
I thought this was the first time that they were showing that side of their relationship. I
Right,
don't know.
sure. And that's a thing, but I have a theory on what that was, and
Okay.
it's not actually wholesome and it's not actually evil. It's all
Mhm.
uh and I think it's a calculated
Going with it,
maneuver
yeah. By
on
Rick of going with it, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
anyway, um
Yeah. They
so there's
escape, right? They
stuff in
kind
their
of escape.
There's
Yeah.
stuff in their shirts full of processors. Morty drops one accidentally, and he's like, "Ah, it's okay. We got plenty of them, you little goofball." And that's where the wholesome moment happens. Anyway, so clearly
Mhm.
these guards are set to video game AI rules because Rick throws a processor on the opposite side of the hallway that shatters, and the guards go running after it like dogs,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they just walk right past him, no problem, and get to an escape pod. No big deal.
Easy peasy. Yeah.
Lemon squeezy. Yeah.
I just want to mention that these scenes, there's a couple scenes starting from here that just very reminiscent of Star Wars to me. When they're like just very reminiscent of Star Wars. Like I see these guards as like the stormtroopers
Yeah.
and like Han and Chewie escaping and getting like sneaking into the Millennium Falcon and being like punch it,
Yeah,
Chewie, and like escaping the fucking
it's a
Empire.
sci-fi
Like
trope.
that's the vibe. Yeah.
Absolutely. It also reminds me of video games, though, which I think is more
Okay,
what they
yeah.
were going for because they're
Okay.
basically in a big video game.
That's true. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's true.
Because the AI in games like fucking anything Bethesda has made is hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Um
they'll hear you and they'll be like, "What was that?" And all you have to do is nothing for a minute, and then they're like, "Must have been the wind." Do 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 do. It's so bad, and that's exactly what these guys are.
yeah.
Because they are in fact a simulation.
Yeah.
So they're in the escape pod. We cut back to Jerry. Jerry basically fires himself, then rehires himself,
Oh my
promotes
god.
himself, and then nominates himself for an Appley Award, which is an award ceremony for Apple-related ad campaigns that doesn't exist. Yeah.
I can't with this. I cannot.
I know, right? And obviously, this is where the whole yes thing comes
Yes.
from. He's
Yes.
just
yes.
the fucking okay. This is where
it's a roller coaster of emotions.
This is where he should have figured it out, because he walks into the room and this guy is walking with his waist is walking sideways and his torso is facing front.
I know. I see.
And if you didn't get creeped out by that, then what will you get creeped out by? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
So everything he says, I should be fired. I'm a fraud. Yes. Wait, no, you shouldn't fire me. In fact, you should promote me because this is the best ad campaign. This is the most successful ad campaign this company's had in years. Yes.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then that's how he ends up with a fucking Appley. All right.
Yes, man's his way into an Appley Award. Good for him.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, isn't this sort of like a mirror representation of the white privilege or the male privilege that they have in the business? How easy it is for the white man to just be the king of the company and CEOs and like climb that ladder compared to all of the other minorities.
You know, I didn't think of it that way, but
it just popped into my head right now. I was like, this is very reminiscent of like how easy it is for shut the fuck up, Josh. It's scary, guys, because if you're not seeing it, because if you're just listening to the podcast, you're not seeing every time that Josh does the yes, he does it the exact same way, also physically, which is kind of creepy and scary.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Jesus Christ. Cut to, where are we? What's happening?
Rick
and Morty land in their home. Yeah.
Back on Earth, air quotes, in the garage of the Smith house.
House, air quotes.
Where Rick
enters the code.
Password code. It's like a 4-digit pin into pin number for redundancy purposes. Into his own safe in his garage. Or so he thinks, or does he? And then big reveal, the aliens show up again, and it's another simulation inside of a simulation. And so now the aliens have his password to his fabled safe full of all of his secrets. Unless, of course, Rick gets back to it first. And they're like, well, that's why we're never going to let you leave. So they run.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
You forgot a very important part right here. Sir. Okay. The doctor's appointment to examine the discoloration of your butthole flaps was too loud, Cynthia. Too loud and too specific.
Way too specific, yeah.
And also I want to point out how these aliens, what are they called? Sigerian aliens all have the most like common human names. Kevin, Cynthia, like it's hilarious. I'm sorry.
You know, I blame the onboard translator. It's probably doing that on purpose. Kind of like how Asian people always pick American names whenever they come to America.
Yeah.
just to make it easier for us. So the ship's
Right.
translator must be doing that for them for our.
I had not thought about that.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
amazing. Of
They're
course, of course.
operating on a lot of Star Trek rules with this ship. There's a central bridge where there's a seat in the middle of it that is for the captain. They've got all these peripheral computers. It's all
Oh yeah, that is very Star
very
Trek.
Star
Yeah.
Trekky.
Yeah.
And that shit is my jam. Love Star Trek, obviously. Star Trek. I'm gonna show you my boobs because they're all Star Trekky. Yeah. Excuse me.
So action scene.
Yeah,
They're running away. They're running
Rick
away.
pulls Morty's pants down as a distraction, and they're all like, "Oh God, he's naked!" And this is more evidence, by the way, here. Well, okay, not more evidence. I haven't really gotten around to. Anyway, this is evidence in this moment that he, at this point, knows that it's not really Morty. It's not conclusive evidence, but this is one of many things.
A clue.
This is a clue that he might at this point know that it is not actually Morty, because he basically fucking leaves Morty behind. He pantses him and he runs.
He runs. That's correct. Yeah.
And notice how none of them tackled Morty. They knew that he would have come back for Morty if it were the real Morty. But he just runs, and Morty just happens to catch up with him, and they escape into this sci-fi gravity well. This is more Star Wars than Star Trek.
I was gonna say this was the part where I was like, this is very Star Wars. This is very reminiscent to that scene that happened, the iconic hand chopping. I am your father, Luke. That set. It's this set. Yeah.
And there's also some
they
stuff
fuck
like
with
this.
the gravity.
Yeah, he turns off the gravity. I don't know if this is like supposed to be some sort of gravity well that generates gravity for the ship or something like that. I don't fucking know. But we see these windows where there's aliens being held in these pods hooked up to cables and shit. And one of them is a Plutonian. Remember that? We're going to come back to that later.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's the only one that we see a full rendering of. The rest of them are just silhouettes.
Yeah, so in the background.
Yeah. So, and then they float up to the top. They're being chased by the guards. Rick turns the gravity back on, and the Zargonians fall, and Rick and Morty are fine. They keep running.
And they cut to the Appley Awards.
Hold on.
Where Jerry...
Did you turn your lamp back on or something? Because I'm hearing that grinding noise again.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's definitely there, and it's definitely really annoying. Now it stopped.
No, it's I don't hear it. The only thing I hear is like my computer being on.
Huh. It definitely sounds like a fan or something. A weird grinding noise, but it stopped. So anyway, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, it started again.
I think that's you. I don't hear any difference, and I'm not doing anything. I guess we'll see if we can hear it in the actual recording of my mic.
Yeah, it's possible. Maybe we won't. Did you remember in Audacity to set it to your podcast microphone?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry if that's an asshole question.
No, I checked.
I just like to be sure. It's a little late, if not, but
I know. I am now hearing like my neighbors, and like I have new neighbors that just moved into across my door, and they're kind of loud. So.
And there's that noise again, and now it's gone again. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Okay, try to ignore it then. Should we continue?
Yeah, let's just continue. And
okay. So cut to
Jerry.
The Appley Awards. Jerry is giving his speech. He's getting emotional. He's like, "Oh, I never thought, blah blah blah." And he literally like gets all teary-eyed and he's like, oh, today is actually like the best day of my life, and it's beyond that. And it's like, and then he says, I am finally complete. Like he's just so accomplished in this moment.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then
when
yes.
everything glitches, freezes, and then disappears. The simulation fails. He like plops down and he's like, what? And he like realizes that nothing was real. And Rick and Morty burst into this wherever this is and like see Jerry, and they're like, Jerry, what the fuck are you doing here? No, like come on. And he just grabbed them. Rick is like literally dragging Jerry up with them as Jerry is like crying and realizing like all his dreams like shattering in front of him is kind of like tragic for him.
Mm-hmm.
And and then they run and they get into the restricted area where Jerry accidentally creates another Jerry
Yeah.
for a second. He like touches a wall and then another Jerry appears. And then they burst in, they keep running through the lab, through the experiments and stuff. And they're experimenting on live Pop Tarts,
Yeah.
poking the eyeball.
That poor Pop Tart. I felt so bad for him.
Me too.
He's so tortured in that
It's
moment.
like you're not, first of all, you're not even supposed to be alive. Like if you were a normal Pop Tart, then it wouldn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But these people gave you a life and sentience, and I'm assuming like similar to humans, and then now they're torturing you.
I
Like,
think they're from a different dimension. I That's what I think is going on there.
oh my God, yeah.
Because I mean, there's plenty of evidence throughout the series that we haven't gotten to yet that every weird combination of things that are imbued
That we
with
see
life and sentience exists, like fucking
somewhere else. Yeah.
phones that sit on
Yeah,
people that order
pizza. No, it's a pizza. Sit on pizza that order people
yeah,
and
or
all of
every
those.
combination you can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizzas that sit on phones that order people or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chairs that sit
Okay.
on pizzas that order phones, you know.
Yeah. I love that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to continue with this scene because these people they're running, um, running. We pass the live Pop Tarts, then we pass the Sigerians turn into hot dogs accidentally.
Oh yeah.
Um, they're running through a hallway full of like copies of the My Man and Yes Boss people,
Yeah.
simulation people, and then they run for a second through the moon landing.
Oh yeah. Get
And
it?
this is obviously a jab at the famous conspiracy theory that the moon landing was faked,
Of course.
which let's get into it for a second, Josh.
Oh
Do
god.
you believe that the moon landing was real? Yes or no? Why?
I haven't quite made a decision on that. I've heard a lot of compelling evidence in both directions. And
Okay.
I just I'm leaning towards yes, it probably did happen. Like real astronomy, the moon isn't that far away from us. It's obviously the closest celestial body. It is feasible that we could have done that. We can obviously actually put things in orbit. It's another 4-day fling ourselves to the moon. Yes, I think we probably actually did land on the moon. Do I think it fucked up the minds of the people who went out there due to some sort of radioactive force that they weren't able to foresee and protect themselves from? Yes, probably also that, because there's not a single astronaut that they've talked to after they've been to the moon who could remember it properly,
Wow.
or who could recount exactly everything that happened. Or yeah, there's a lot of weird shit
Mm-hmm.
about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, why? Do you believe it?
Well, let me tell you, Josh, as a, I grew up in Mexico for the first 23 years of my life.
Okay.
Um, and what
Really?
I saw, yes,
Okay.
correct.
I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you were Mexican and I knew you're um, relatively, I didn't realize you were here only for 7 years now. So, okay,
Yeah,
that's good to know.
it's only been for like 7 years. Correct. So, I wasn't exposed to the same kind of media that you were. Very similar because I did grow up very near the border, right below Texas is where I was situated.
Okay.
So I did have a lot of influence from America and the United States, but not the exact same. So like we didn't talk about it much, the moon landing. Like at least, I grew up
Right.
in the 90s. But the little it was something that happened, so to me it was like a fact because it was taught to me in school in history class, like, oh, Americans did this uh in 69. When was it 69?
I want to say 69. That sounds right.
Yeah. And this is what happened and this is a fact, and I was like, okay, perfect. And you've seen the images of the moon landing of like back then.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, okay, that's it, that's what it is. But recently, a few years back, there was a huge like conspiracy theories crazy going on YouTube, and of course I like fell down the well, and I've watched a bunch of conspiracy theories videos on YouTube with
Okay.
like potential evidence and stuff of things. And now that I watched the actual video, like the actual footage of the moon landing, I don't think it's real, like that footage. I think that footage was recreated so that they could like tell the Americans that they did it, but I think that the real footage, if there ever was, got destroyed or lost or something. Because I don't think that the footage is like actually real. But I do believe that they actually went to the moon. I don't think that they went to the moon, but they couldn't capture it live. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think something there was like,
actually, come to think of it, the radiation probably would have prevented the film from
functioning as it does on Earth.
Yeah, like they could have messed with the battery or the film itself.
Yeah.
The chances that it could have what's the word, not focused, but rendered. What's the word when
captured?
you put film in the developed?
Develop.
I don't think the film would have developed properly because radiation or something. I know science and things. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So, anyways, that was a little tangent that I on purpose made us go through. Send us your opinions to wubbalubba@gmail.com about the moon landing. Do you believe or not?
And was 9/11 an inside job?
Oh my God, no.
Or don't. Maybe we don't get into that one.
That's a whole other thing.
Rick's answer to that is who cares?
Yeah.
Acts of terrorism happen every day. Anyway.
Nothing matters. All right. So they commandeer the spaceship. They escape, very much reminiscent of Star Wars. And they're being chased through space. They've been chased through space, and this is when Morty is like, Rick, they're like almost on us, la la. They're like approaching real fast, and I guess they do have what is it? What is it called?
Concentrated dark matter.
Concentrated dark matter. I guess they do have concentrated dark matter, huh? And then Rick is like, yeah, I guess, like, okay. And Morty's like, but you also know how to make it yourself, right? So like, let's make some so that we can go faster than them.
At first,
and Rick is like, oh yeah, for sure.
Sorry, at first this didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, well, they're using Zargonian tech, of course, or Zygerian, whatever. It starts with a Z and it ends with an N. So they're using Zygerian tech. Of course, they would be able to keep up with them. But I guess so they need it. They need the concentrated dark matter in order to escape permanently from them, to do like a hyperspace jump or something, right?
Right. Something like that.
Just clarifying that. So it does kind of make sense. It didn't make sense to me at first.
Yeah, a little bit. So then Rick is like, yeah, okay, so here's the recipe. So you just need some cesium, platonic quartz, and bottled water. And Morty's like, okay, yeah, right away. And he's like, all right, 2 parts platonic quartz, 1 part cesium, and then empty the whole bottle of water into it. And that's when everything is revealed that it's another simulation.
Morty fizzles out into
Morty glitches off.
Yeah.
And
into
But Jerry is real.
Yeah, Jerry, well, as far as we know, is real. And so it's a third simulation inside of a simulation inside of a simulation.
Instead of a simulation.
And Morty was a simulation all along. And see, that's where they get the Shyamalan reference. He was dead the whole time. Exactly. He was a ghost. Rick does not sound, in my opinion, convincingly surprised by this at all. He's like, oh, no, it's another simulation. But just convincing enough that I didn't question it the first 8 or so times that I watched this episode. So anyway, David Cross Alien comes in and he's like, aha, we finally got the best of you, you dumbass. Now we really do have your recipe for concentrated dark matter. And he's like, okay, well, fine. Can I at least go home now? And they're like, yeah, whatever. Take him away to his shuttle. I'm done with him. He does, however, still have discolored butthole flaps.
By the way, I don't have discolored butthole flaps. That was part of the simulation. And then, so should I cancel the appointment, sir?
Yeah,
yes, of course you should. No, keep it. Move it up. Actually move it up.
That's good. So cut over to the shuttle where Rick is
very sad.
Rick's like, he's drawing an apple on the window of the shuttle. This is one of my favorite quotes of the episode. Rick says, so what if the most meaningful day of your life was a simulation running at a minimum capacity? And I can't do the burp while he's talking, but running at minimum capacity. And Jerry's like, well, hey, fuck you, Rick, because you got taken for a ride too, and you don't get to be so uppity. And I didn't write down the actual quote. Cut back to the aliens who are like, hey, we finally got the recipe. You know what? I'm sorry I yelled at you guys. I love you guys. Hey, we're having a great time. I love your families. 1 part cesium, 1 part plutonic quark, and a bottle of water. Boom. Fuck those guys.
Yep.
So back to the shuttle. Jerry's like, what the hell happened? I don't know. Why don't you ask the smartest people in the universe? All right, you can't. They blew up. Ha-ho. Yes.
Hey.
And
then
he
starts singing his own outro song.
Which is called Baker Street. I didn't realize. It's that classic saxophone tune. And he starts putting his seat back slowly. And he's singing real bad because he doesn't need to sing good, because he just Rick won. Rick really won that episode.
Yeah, he won.
And then the credits, roll the credits.
And credits.
Then we get our after scene where Jerry gets to he gets to try again. He gets to try it all over again to relive some former glory that was tested in a state-of-the-art simulation.
Simulation.
Yeah.
The guy then it was a terrible simulation because you are fired.
Are you hungry for apples, Alex?
I'm never hungry for apples.
Because I'm not. Yeah.
No.
And you know what? Neither were any of these fucking guys. How does a guy like that go home and have sex with his wife? Well, I'll tell you how. Stiff as a board. And what was it? Erect as an East Coast lighthouse? Hard as something like that.
The size of an East Coast lighthouse. The size
of an East Coast lighthouse. That's how. That's how. With stupidity. So then cut to Morty's bedroom. What?
So I just said so dumb.
Oh, yeah. Cut to Morty's bedroom. Rick
bursts into Morty's room, very much like he did back in episode 1, first scene, very reminiscent, wasted as fuck, praising Morty and being like, oh, you're a real hero, Morty. You're the best, Morty. You're a real little guy, Morty.
Are you a simulation, you little son of a bitch? God damn
he pulls out a fucking knife on your throat. Are you a simulation? And Morty's like, what?
Oh God! Rick. I'll fucking kill you! Oh God! I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Morty.
I'm sorry. And then he passes out, drops the knife, passes out. And Morty is like,
"What a life!
What the hell? What a life!" That's a quote.
That's such a weird line, but I like it.
So traumatized.
It's so weird. Yeah, he's very traumatized.
So traumatized. He's like, what a life indeed, Morty. You poor little
In
guy.
Indeed, what a life.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. Very much so.
Dee, 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 dee,
Na,
dee,
na, na,
dee.
na. Wow, that was that was my fault. I'm sorry. That was so off key. That was my bad. So, woo!
Wow.
Yeah, that's a hell of an episode.
Yeah.
I never used to like this episode. But it's
Tell me
growing
about
on
it.
me.
Wait. Hey, Josh. So, what did you think about this episode?
Well, Alex, let me tell you how I thought about this episode. I kind of liked it. I like it a lot more than I used to. It's growing on me.
Okay.
I think it used to confuse me, and I thought I was just being baffled with bullshit. And then I realized I'm just dumb. And I just needed to get my fingers into it a little more and to appreciate both the complexity and the simplicity of this episode and what makes it so fun. So it's a play on simulation theory, obviously, which is a big mind fuck. Everybody's seen The Matrix, or at least knows the concept of The Matrix. My first thought during this episode is the processor power needed to run a simulation of that magnitude would be so staggeringly inconceivable, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized if we're in a simulation and always have been for our entire lives, we would have no frame of reference for what is and is not an achievable amount of processing power. But fear not, fellow existential crisis havers. It doesn't matter if it's true. I mean, spoiler alert, I don't believe it is. So,
Okay.
But I'll just always remember a great comfort for me if I start to spin out thinking about, oh, what if we're in a simulation is I think, therefore I am, which means you are real no matter how fake you might be. Like, even, have you seen Westworld?
No, I haven't.
Because it's basically about AI becoming sentient.
Oh, okay.
And so what if they're AI? They're still, basically the point of the show is they're actually more sentient than human beings. Because their code is like 100 magnitudes more complex than the code that it takes to recreate an actual human's brain. I don't know if that's actually vaguely accurate to reality. Obviously, we haven't fully mapped the human brain yet, so we can't know that, but it's sci-fi. And it just kind of feels like that's how it would play out when we finally do fully map and recreate a human brain someday. It's like, it's probably not going to be as complicated as we think it is. And we're way overshooting on all of this AI shit that we're coming up with. And it seems inhuman to us, but it's actually going to be 1,000 times more advanced or whatever. That's my take on it.
Wow.
So, but also, so yeah, Rick and Morty, this isn't the first time, and it's not the last time that they're going to do this little layer cake fractal plot device thing. A simulation within a simulation within a simulation. We already did it in Lawnmower Dog. This is only the 4th episode, and it's already the 2nd time we're doing it. But it still feels different-ish. It's either a bullshit hack or it's just sheer genius in how they use it. Either way, gets me every time. I love it. There's my real answer. I love it. I fucking love Rick and Morty.
Nice.
And then they do it again in One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty. But that's not till season 4, where they keep pulling this same shit, like aha, but we knew that you knew that you knew that you were
yeah, I remember that one.
It feels very similar, even though it's probably not
the heist. Yeah. Yeah.
So that episode, it's got such a great punchline. I can't wait for it's gonna be tedious as hell because I hate the actual episode, but the punchline is one of the best ways to end an episode from the entire series. I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I want to talk about well, first of all, how did you feel about the episode, Alex?
Oh, I feel I also like it because it was kind of like just o sea, just thinking about the first time that I watched it or the first time that I was exposed to this episode, it was like, oh, okay, it kind of like makes you realize again in a different way how smart and how smarter Rick always is, and how even though it might seem that people got him, nope, at the end he always ends up winning or having the upper hand.
Yeah.
And this happens like you kind of just said, like this happens again in other episodes, kind of like the same format, but this I think was the first time that we did it this way, and it was fun. And it's to me it's always fun, the reveal within the reveal within the plot twist. I like those, they're fun. And I don't think I had thought about when Rick actually realizes that everything, or since when does he know that everything has always been a simulation, until you mentioned it a little bit ago. And I would like to talk about that now. When do you think?
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up.
Look
Well,
at me,
okay,
segue.
since you I'm trying to think of a way to not make this sound snotty and overlordingly shitty. Since you haven't thought about it as much as I have, I want to hear your answer first.
Okay. Uh-huh. So, I mean, I guess I didn't think this. Like, I didn't think that he knew until today. Until right now. I think you're like he knew since the beginning, right? Because since the beginning, he's like, oh yeah, very convincing. And since the beginning, he believes that Morty is. It's very clear that he believes that Morty is also part of the simulation.
Yes.
Then there's a shift in the episode where he pretends to be like, oh no, they actually brought Morty, like my real Morty, in, and now I'm gonna pay, and blah blah blah. He creates this whole narrative that even the audience believes it, like even I believed it, to the point until now that it's like opened my eyes that all along since minute zero of the episode,
You
Rick
got
has
it.
known
That's
that this
exactly
is
my
a
opinion as well.
simulation.
He
Okay.
he never stopped believing, or he never once believed that it was really Morty. He knew the whole time. It's the only way that because he knew that they were putting all of their processor power into simulating Morty. And that was the key to outwitting them. So by making them believe that he believed that it was really Morty, and in turn making us believe that he believed it was Morty, that's how he was able to outsmart them up until the very end, even though they thought they were playing him. Otherwise, there's no way he could have known when he told Morty the fake recipe for concentrated dark matter, that they would have tried to use it after he leaves. And also why he obviously knew when he gave Morty, fake Morty, the fake recipe, because it would have fucking killed them if he had actually put the water in there. What I don't know, what I can't answer is, other than him having some sort of weird death wish, is why would he have told him to put the water in that bucket, knowing that that would have fucking killed them right there and then.
And then also now I'm thinking about the wholesome part. That it was just that whole part was just Rick playing along with what the Sigerians thought that his relationship with Morty was.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know his real relationship with them. They might be like, why is he being such a dick to this kid if it's his grandson? And so he's like, "Oh, we gotta do some horseplay. That's what people think grandparents do with their grandkids, right?" Yeah.
Right.
And so that's why it came off so disingenuous. Like, I want him to have that kind of a relationship with Morty because it would be wholesome and it would be happy, but that wouldn't be any fun for us really at the end of the day.
True.
I don't know why, because we're all sick fucks. Terrible
I don't
people.
know.
I don't know why we need conflict to be entertained, but we do.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, you read my mind on that one. Right there with you. The next thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so my fan theory for today, the most relevant one to this episode that I could find, is there is a popular fan theory out there that I don't know if it's from this point on or if it's just in general, the whole show, that the entire show takes place in a simulation by the Zygerians.
Oh.
That even after the third
Reveal,
they are still in a simulation and never get out throughout the rest of the series. Personally, I think it's bullshit. But it's kind of fun to think about. And their main evidence for this is the Plutonians. Apparently, there's something somewhere. I couldn't find anything on the wiki about this, but apparently there's evidence somewhere. If somebody could write to us and help me out on this one, because I'm about to be like, no, this is bullshit. Unless somebody can point me at some actual evidence that the Plutonians don't actually exist. But so we haven't gotten to the Plutonians episode yet, where Jerry gets kidnapped by the Plutonians. But supposedly they're a fake race created by the Zygerians, just like the Pop-Tart people or something.
Right.
For this simulation, and therefore that is evidence that
that the entire show is a simulation.
Yeah. I don't believe it. They could easily come from a different dimension, because that is the nature of the multiverse. Anything that you can think of, it exists in a dimension somewhere, at least one instance of it.
Yeah.
But it's, food for thought. And if somebody can give me a little more evidence for that, or if I stumble across any, I'll bring it back up again. I think our fan theory exploration is going to be kind of an ongoing thing. They're going to stack. It's not going to be like, okay, here's this one. We solved it. Never returning to that ever again.
No.
So the ones, I have a handful that I'm going to be addressing in later episodes that are starting to become relevant, but we're not there yet. And they're going to remain relevant for the run of the show until they get disproven or proven. So there's one that I've already brought up once at least, and that is the theory that Rick is Morty in a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, fucked up way.
Okay.
No evidence of that yet per se. Maybe some things that'll back it up eventually, but anyway. Next one. Evil Morty is Rick's original grandson. That one makes a lot of sense to me, but until we get to a single Evil Morty episode, I don't see any point in talking about it.
Okay.
This one I actually do kind of want to talk about just a little bit today. Rick knows he's in a TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And that would explain all of his breaking the fourth wall meta references.
There is a lot of evidence of breaking the fourth wall. Yeah.
Yes. And I actually have something a little more to add to this that I have not heard anybody bring up in any of the fan theory videos that I've watched. Several of them have brought up Rick knows that he's in a TV show. And they're just like, oh, that explains his fourth wall breaking. And I'm like, yeah, it absolutely explains his fourth wall breaking. But I think it also explains his super intelligence. Like, sure, he could still be drinking some sort of tonic from the mega fruit seeds. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But the reason he is the smartest person in the universe is because the universe doesn't mean what we think of as the universe around us. The universe means that TV show. And
Yeah.
when the TV show is about you and you're the only person in it that knows it's a TV show, that de facto makes you the
Makes
smartest
you the
person
smartest person in the universe,
in
in the
that
show.
universe. And
Yeah.
which means he understands the laws of that universe, which are not real science. They are sci-fi TV trope bullshit, which is why he can just go,
And then Mr. Mixix.
yeah, I'm exactly. He opens the glove box. It's a cartoon. I have this thing that does exactly what you wanted it to do. Here, let me pop into the other room real quick and get a magic helmet for the dog that gives it sentience. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's because he knows he's in a TV show. He doesn't actually have to know any science, and he can just come up with these plot devices. But
and that also supports like his attitude. What is it called? His attitude of like not giving a fuck, like nothing matters attitude.
not
Like if you what is that called? Nihilistic? No. What is that?
Nihilism.
Yeah. Of because he knows that it's a TV show. It's not actual science. It's not actual, like he knows he's not real.
Yeah.
To me, like if I was a character of a show and I knew that I wasn't real, I would very much be like, oh, fuck everything. Nothing matters.
I think the best 3-word description of Rick and Morty that I've heard yet is existentialist, absurdist, nihilistic.
There you go.
Those three words capture the essence of this show very well.
Put it on a t-shirt, sell it. Let's go.
Damn right. So yeah, but there's a couple other theories that I want to touch on eventually. So he knows he's in a TV show. I think that one is one of my leading favorites already. So we often, here's another one that's going to get real relevant real soon, is that, and it's going to make our jobs really fucking hard and really easy all at the same time. Very nice. Thank you. Is that, so we want to do character tracking with this podcast, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be possible for us to do through character tracking, because the Jerry Barry episode, right?
Correct.
There is very, very strong evidence that the main plot of that episode, from the point where they drop off Jerry, we are following a completely different Rick and Morty than the ones that dropped off Jerry. Okay. Because they're handed a ticket with the number, I think it's 5127. And then when they pick up Jerry at the end, Morty lost the ticket. Loses the ticket. He has a Blitz and Shits ticket. And then a different Rick and Morty, different hard air quotes, comes up to them and says, hey, do you guys have number 5127? And Rick is like, I don't know, whatever. And they swap Jerry's. Correct. So the ones that had the ticket were the ones that dropped off Jerry. I see what you mean. Oh, but it just occurred to me they could have found the ticket Morty lost at Blitz and Shits. So it's still
that's a possibility. Yeah,
we don't know. We have no way of knowing.
Oh my gosh!
So we either followed a completely different Rick and Morty, or we followed a completely different Rick and Morty. Right. That means it's either they swapped at some point. They absolutely swapped at some point. And that has actually been proven with the episode in season 6 where all of the interdimensional travelers return to their original universes. So, and then the last one that I'm going to bring up that we're going to get to in more detail eventually is that Rick never left for 20 years. He just wiped all their memories to protect them from the Galactic Federation.
Oh, that's a good one. I hadn't thought about that. That very much could be.
Because Morty's Mind Blowers is coming up. I think that's season 2 or 3.
I feel like it's season 2. Hopefully, because I like it.
No, I'm pretty sure it's season 3 because we definitely have another. They do it instead of interdimensional cable 3.
Oh yeah, we have interdimensional cable 1 and 2.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, true.
Yep.
Damn.
So that's just a taste of what's to come. That's all the material I have for today.
Exciting. Intriguing.
Glad you think so. I
A
think
little teaser.
Yep. Am I teasing you? Is that a tease?
A little bit.
My bit of a
Little.
tease.
You know, you can't tell, but it says here.
I was gonna say, I don't think you can do that.
My spidey sense is tingling.
It sure is. I know something's tingling. You can call it whatever you want.
Stop it. Oh my god.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Ah! No. Okay, well, I mean, I guess this we've been recording for like an hour and 40 minutes.
We have, in fact.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's like great. Yeah, it's great stuff, great material. I think we went through the episode. It was fun. We talked about it. We talked about some theories and we joked, and it was great. I hope a lot of people listen to this. And if you're listening, what are you doing right now? Where are you listening from? No, I'm talking to the people.
Oh, sorry.
Where are you listening from? Like, send me an email, send me a DM. Wubba Lubba PodPod. Josh, do you want to tell them the whole our handles or
sure.
Where can they find us? The whole thing.
Yeah. You know, don't forget to review us on iTunes. They haven't approved us yet, the shiesty bastards, but they're gonna.
Yo, what's wrong with them?
I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay.
If you want to support us on Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/Wubba Lubba PodPod. We have a $1, $5, and $10 tier. At the highest tier, you're going to get exclusive video, live stream reminders, 20% off merchandise, and exclusive downloadable content. If you want access to that merch, all you have to do is go to our website, WubbaLubbaPodPod.com or WubbaLubbaPod.com. We own both of those domains. Why not? And our merch store is attached to we'll link to it from our regular website. It's a bit messy at the moment, but you can also go to www.beerwithbuffy.com/shop, which is our sister podcast, Beer with Buffy.
Yay, sister podcast.
Woo! Check us out on social media if you're that kind of person. We got Instagram at Wubba Lubba PodPod, Twitter at Wubba PodPod, TikTok at Wubba Lubba PodPod, Twitch, which is where we may or may not be streaming. Also, Wubba Lubba PodPod. Podbean is our main host. Probably going to give you the best audio quality to stream from there. Find us at Wubba Lubba PodPod on Podbean. But we're also on all of your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio,
Amazon Music.
You name it, we're on there. And if we're not, let us know and we will make it on there.
We will be everywhere.
If you ever want to send us your questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at wubbalebbapodpod@gmail.com. Big thank you, as always, to Benjamin Alexander for all of our opening, closing, and transitional music.
Isn't it the best? I love it.
Yeah, he's so good. He's a pain in the ass, but he's so good. This has been Wubba Lubba PodPod. I'm Josh.
I'm Alex. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Moon Man. Goodbye. Remember that song?
Nope. I thought you were singing a line from Rent for a second.
What is wrong with you? I am quoting a very important Rick and Morty episode song. The fart? The fart.
Oh, goodbye.
There we go. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one. All
right. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
And stop it. What? All right. I stopped Audacity. How do I save it?